My boss fired me because I wouldn't stay late to decorate for his birthday. So I exposed the fraud he'd been hiding for years and took his job.
My name is Alex Turner, 24 years old, working as a junior IT analyst at a mid-sized tech company in Chicago. My boss, Daniel Reed, was the kind of manager who thought fear was a leadership skill. He yelled at people for breathing wrong, demanded weekend work without pay, and believed every employee existed solely to make his life easier. The kind of guy who orders a triple espresso and then complains it isn't energetic enough. My trouble with him started when I asked for a single day off. My younger sister had a medical follow-up that I needed to take her to because my mom was out of state. I walked into Reed's glass office and explained the situation. He didn't even look up from his keyboard. He just said, "Turner, if you walk out tomorrow, don't bother walking back in. I need you here, period." No discussion, no empathy, just corporate dictatorship. I canceled the appointment and stayed. That was the first time I realized how much power he liked holding over people and how badly he needed to lose it. A month later, it was Reed's birthday, a day he treated like a national holiday. He expected the entire department to stay late, decorating the office so he could walk in the next morning and act surprised. He called it a team-building tradition. We called it unpaid slavery. When he told us to stay until 10 p.m. to finish his birthday shrine, I told him calmly, "Sir, I have plans tonight. I can't." He stared at me like I had personally offended the country. His voice dropped to a whisper. "If you walk out that door, you're done here." I walked. The next morning, HR handed me a termination letter for refusal to comply with management requirements. Just like that, 3 lines of text and my entire job was gone. The worst part? My rent was due in 10 days. My sister's appointment was rescheduled for the following week, and I had no income. I sat on a park bench outside the building and felt this cold, burning anger in my chest. I wasn't mad about losing the job. I was mad that someone like Reed was allowed to run people's lives like that. That day, I made myself a promise. I'm going to end this man's career with the same amount of mercy he showed me. None. A week after I was fired, my coworker and friend Emily texted me. "You won't believe this. Reed still uses the same password for everything. It's literally Reed 1979. I already knew his password habits. He was proud of using easy-to-remember passwords and bragged that no hacker is targeting an IT manager. He used the same password for his email, his admin panel access, and even for the network printer system, the one tied directly to the company servers." Emily also told me something else. The company was preparing for a massive federal compliance audit. Reed had falsified the financial and project reports to make himself look like a miracle worker. If auditors saw the real numbers, his career would be over instantly. And just like that, a beautiful, reckless, perfect plan formed in my head. There was a printer in the office known internally as Server Printer 01. It was linked directly to the server database and handled all automated print reports. Reed used it heavily for manipulating reports, printing fake summaries before replacing the originals and shredding whatever didn't fit his narrative. But through the admin dashboard, which required a password, anyone could schedule a print job. Anyone who had, say, the password Reed 1979. So I logged in from my laptop at home. One click, and I was inside the printer's admin panel. There, I found a folder labeled Real Audit Files, Do Not Print. Those were the true numbers, the ones he hoped never saw daylight. I scheduled those reports to print automatically at 9:30 a.m. the next morning, right when the auditors would be sitting across from him in his office. Then, I noticed something even better. The printer was synced to Reed's email. Every time it printed, it sent him a notification with a custom message field. So I added one. The message he would receive at 9:30 a.m. read, "Thought you should see the truth for once. A.T." The next morning, I sat in a cafe across the street from my old office, sipping a cheap coffee, heart pounding in anticipation. At 9:31 a.m., Emily texted me, "Oh my God, it's printing!" The printer started spitting out pages non-stop. Hundreds of them, the real expense logs, the incomplete projects, the customer refund records he hid, the massive discrepancies between his fake projections and the actual numbers. It was like the printer was vomiting every lie he had ever told. The auditors stared at the reports in shock. Reed panicked, lunging at the printer like he was trying to strangle it. He unplugged it, plugged it back in, tried to block the papers with his hands, but it was too late. The stack of printed truth was already in the auditor's hands. Then his phone buzzed. He opened the email. He read my message. Emily said his face turned white, then red, then some color that didn't exist in nature. By noon, Reed was suspended pending investigation. By the end of the week, he was fired for fraud, data manipulation, and attempting to mislead federal auditors. The company barely avoided a massive fine, and they wanted someone who knew the systems well to help rebuild everything properly. They reached out to me. I didn't just get my job back. I got promoted to lead systems analyst, Reed's old position. And the first thing I did when I sat in his office chair, I looked at Emily and said, "No more overtime ever." Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone's life, it's about replacing them and running things the way they should have always been run.